Hi, Tandika. Thank you for joining. You're my first viewer. I'm just gonna wait for a couple more people and then we can get started. Just let me know, is my audio fine? Are we good? Can you throw a thumbs up or something so I can know I'm loud enough? Right. So I will just start, and the people that will come will kind of find us somewhere in the middle. Thank you for joining me today, guys. My name is Twila Cams, and I do these IG lives like every week where I interview different people that I personally find inspirational. This week we'll be looking at Itumeleng Baloyi, who is a self-care enthusiast. She's a muse. She is many things in one. She really is a full package. I find her extremely inspirational for many reasons. She studied finance and she went on to do so many things within the creative industry in South Africa. Thanks, Tandeka, for that thumbs up. Now I know I'm good. But as I was saying, Solar is I2 has been able to kind of establish her presence in the creative industry in South Africa. And I think even in Botswana, if you guys are tuning in from Botswana, I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing a couple of comments from a lot of people. Got so much feedback from Botswana who were so excited to be kind of conversing with Solar during this Instagram live. So hopefully it will be a productive session. So where the topic of today, or the subject matter that we're kind of going to explore is concerned, we're going to be looking at meditation. Now the reason why I chose this topic and I've strategically put it exactly where it is in terms of the website structure, why I put it on this specific time and in specific era, is that if you've been following the website, you'll notice that there is somewhat a build up. There's always there's in the sense it's strategically aligned to address certain issues as they come. We began with self-awareness when we started end of October, on the 23rd of October. We explored self-awareness. We looked at self-awareness, why it's so important. We looked at why as a creative, as a site is centered around creatives. We looked at why as a creative it's very important to kind of join the industry with a more kind of a better understanding of who you are and a better understanding of what it is that you're offering to the creative industry aside from your talent, because we know that talent is a given for anyone. Anyone can bring talent to the table. Anyone could sharpen their skills in a way that's even better than your talent. And so you have to bring a certain kind of uniqueness to it all. And self-awareness was a 1 or 2 week kind of series where we elaborated on the importance of that. We're now into the second phase, which is collaborations. And the reason I asked Itu to join us today is because, I really wanted her to kind of explore how she balances. Something I really admire about Sola is that she balances being a fashion creative with being a meditation practitioner so well. I think she balances it so well. I think to find that balance is something a lot of creatives are not lucky enough to achieve. And hopefully today she'll be giving us a couple of tips on how to achieve that. I see she's joining, so we're just going to wait for the connection to be better so she can send me a request and we could go live. But basically that's Sola, just let me know if you're fine where you are, if you can hear me. Hi Bossa, thank you for joining. I know you had said that you were going to join us today. Thanks for joining. All right, while I wait, once again, as I said, I asked Itu to come on today to basically explain how she balances being a creative with being a self-care enthusiast. She posts a lot on her Instagram about wellness and mental health and just being in the right spirit and protecting your energy. Today, we'll be looking at fostering your creative energy, nurturing your creative energy, protecting your creative energy, and then how to open up your creative workspace. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever way you may choose to perceive that, but opening your creative space in a way that other people are able to connect on your creative wavelengths, which is something I had written about just a couple days ago on my website. So if you could go to the blog section of my site, you could click in the link in my bio and it will take you there and you could read all about my take on creative wavelengths during collaborations. Sola, just communicate if you are fine where you are. Just wait. I don't know if it's my internet that's having a bit of an issue or if it's just a terrible connection. So I'll just wait. Hi, at Beautiful Swan. Hi, the real Karis. Hey! Hi, can you hear me? I can't hear you unless my phone is. Let me just.
I can hear you now.
Ah, there we go. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Love. I'm great. I love your head wrap. Everything is looking really, really good. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I'm in the car, guys. I literally had to jump from a shoot to do
Right.
this. But it's fine. It's fine. It's
We'll
quiet.
make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
At least it is, hey? Thank you
Yeah.
for joining me, Sola. I am so happy to be hosting you on my IG live sessions. And really, there really is no better person I could have asked to conduct this specific interview. I feel like you are literally the only person that can answer all the questions that I have on meditation and how that connects to the creative space. So,
Yeah.
shall we get straight into it?
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you for having me first and foremost. It's my absolute pleasure.
Thank you, thank you. I see a couple people are joining. I can't say all their names, but thank you for joining, guys. So let's get straight into it. So what prompted you to start meditation? You had said to me that you had started meditation over 5 years ago. I wasn't aware of that. What kind of changes have occurred and what prompted you to really start the journey?
Yo, it's boiling in SA, guys. Wow. I need to
Imagine Botswana.
It is boiling. When it comes to meditation, I started 5 years ago from somebody who was a stranger initially.
Right.
We met at like it wasn't a bar. It was like a club setup. It was a Sunday chilled hip hop event, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was there by himself, and me and my friend went over to him, and we started chatting to him, and we became friends. And he introduced me to meditation. You know, he said, have you tried meditation? There's a few meditation techniques that I know of that I can teach you. And from there on, it was just a part of my life. Initially, the reason why he wanted to help me to start meditating was because he could see that I was a very anxious person. My body language
Mm.
was always very like uptight, and I didn't realize it. I thought I was a very relaxed, chilled person, but it turns out I wasn't. um
Right.
he was a very like, he could pick up people's energies very easily. He could see, like, you're very tense, you need to relax, try meditating, this can help you. And yeah, from then I've just been meditating. I think I've gone to so many retreats and workshops for meditating, and you can never go to enough. You can actually never go to enough
Mm.
meditation retreats and workshops, because it's like a refresh button. So
Wow.
yeah, initially the reason why I started was because of my anxiety, to help me cope with my anxiety,
Mm.
and it's just become a part of my lifestyle. It's become something I live by. Something that I use to help me be a better person. So yeah,
Right.
that's initially why I started
Cool.
meditating.
So at the time, were you already a creative at the time, or had you started being a muse? Had you done those collaborations, or were you just in a space where you are just Itu?
Yeah. I was an English teacher at that time. I used to teach English online, um, at an international online school, and a lot of my students were.
Right.
Um, yeah, I was interested in the arts, so
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a lot. Not I've always had, but at the time I had a lot of photographer friends, and I would shoot with
Right.
them, just for fun. Whenever they needed a model, they'd be like, "Hey, you know, Itumeleng come through. I don't think I even went by solar then. I don't think I
Ah,
called myself solar at that time. So people still knew me as Itumeleng, you know.
as
Um,
Itu.
so I would shoot with my friends. It wasn't
Right.
anything serious, really. We were just really having fun, expressing ourselves. It wasn't for money. It wasn't about.
Mm.
At that time, Instagram wasn't even like a big thing. You know, it was still Facebook,
Oh,
and it
right.
was still
Yeah.
Tumblr. So Facebook and Tumblr were where we would put our work up, and there was another one. I forget it now, but yeah, it was still very like chilled. You know, brands had caught on to this whole,
Mm.
you know, creative visual arts and you know, influencer thing. It was very much
Right.
us having fun, expressing ourselves because that we enjoy that, we love that. So yeah, I
Wow.
wasn't really professionally doing it.
Mm. Oh, okay, cool. But then now, today, obviously, that's a bit of a different story. You've done so
Yeah.
well for yourself, you've progressed so much. How do you think you balance being a creative with your you being a spiritual being and kind of exploring peace in that area? Because I find with a lot of creatives, if you're in like at the forefront of like fashion, which is what you do, apart from everything else you do content creating, you're a muse, you do all these amazing things. It gets, I've noticed for a lot of people to kind of maintain that connection with self and that awareness of self and away from it all, away from being the cover girl for SA Fashion Handbook and all of these like big acknowledgments that you've done, achievements you've achieved. How do you get to a space where you're like, but first I'm gonna protect my energy?
I think I understand that if I'm not okay, it's going to reflect on my work because me and what
Right.
I do are the same thing. They're not separate, you know. I don't wake up in
Mm,
the morning, go to the office and be an employee, you know, and then go
yeah.
home and be myself. That's not how I navigate my career. Me and my career are one thing, you know. Solar is Itumeleng, which is what my name is. It's one thing. It's one
Right.
thing. So I realized that if I'm not okay, energy wise, you know, mentally, emotionally, it's definitely going to show in my work. And even when I'm not okay, I think I use it as a tool to help me create, you know? Um,
Mm,
that is why I think for me it's important to be authentic because that authenticity is what helps me create the kind of content that I create. You know, that even when I'm not okay, I can still communicate with people, I can still put stuff out
mm,
because I'm not portraying myself anything other than what I am in that point in
right.
time. So I don't have to put on a face for people to say, "Oh, solar," you know. I can wake up
Mm,
in the morning
yeah.
in my pajamas and talk to people, and it's still in conjunction with what I do because that's just me. My work is me, you know. There honestly is no separation for me. The balance is just understanding that my work is me. I am my work. If I'm not, my work is not okay, you know. Or if I'm not
Right.
okay, I need to find a way to not let it affect my work, but just as a
Mm,
tool. I still need to use it as a tool to express myself because my work is all about expression. It's all about being
right.
honest with myself first and then
Mm.
everybody else. So it all starts with me at the end of the day.
Wow, that's great. I really like how you're making that connection between authenticity and who you are with what you put out, because that's something I personally swear by. Like, I'm so into the importance of authenticity. I think it's very important to be yourself. It's actually, if anything, I think the process of creating content becomes somewhat easier if you're just yourself. If you're not just
Yeah.
flipping through a bunch of things and looking for what to post. You become yourself, people begin to accept that, people begin to get inspired by that, and it just changes so many things for you. I just want to quickly look at a couple of comments and seeing a lot of positive ones. Someone is asking what the challenges of meditating have been.
I think one of the biggest challenges of meditation is when you're really going through a really tough time and finding it difficult to sit down and listen to yourself or be with yourself, because listening to yourself means dealing with maybe you don't want to deal with, or things that are difficult to deal
Right.
with, um and letting something go is not always easy, and being in the moment, I think, is definitely one of the hardest things about meditation.
Right.
And that is what meditation requires of you or from you. It requires you to be very, very present. It requires you to be mindful of your breathing. It requires you to be able to not necessarily ignore your thoughts. It's not about ignoring your thoughts, which I think a lot of people misunderstand about meditation, is that mind is supposed to be completely quiet, and that's the only way you're supposed to do it. If you have thoughts and if your mind is distracted, that means you're doing it wrong. And that is not the case, because your mind
Right.
is always going to work and have thoughts. That's the function of your brain. Your job is to then be aware of the thoughts and separate yourself from the thoughts and release the thoughts, not resist the thoughts, because the more you resist the thoughts is the more they come. So once you acknowledge them, you're able to release them. And it's a process that happens over and over and over and over and over again. So I think those are some of the challenges when it comes to meditation, and really being present, not letting your thoughts kind of make you feel like giving up, and not letting your circumstance. Sometimes, like I said, when you're going through something really difficult, you don't want to sit down and meditate. You really don't, because you just want to be sad and you just want to cry. But if you allow yourself to sit down and meditate, and you actually sit through it, I think you'll be happier for it, and you'll thank yourself for it. So meditation is hard, guys. It's hard. Even for someone like me who meditates every day, I have really hard days where it's really difficult for me to just quieten my mind. But I understand that days are different as well, and some days my mind is busier than others. All I have to do is just keep meditating, keep being aware of the thoughts, keep letting the thoughts go. That's it.
Wow. You had touched just right now in your explanation, beautiful explanation, by the way, that's so insightful. You had spoken a bit earlier about somewhat controlling your environment, so to speak, and being able to distance yourself from it all. I see that as a repetitive theme even on your Instagram. A lot of your posts could be just today, for instance, you had given a post you had posted about an incident of an encounter you had with a woman on the how train. So instances like that where you meet different people, how do you control your environment? I think someone had also mentioned something about remaining focused. I think it's in line with that. How do you control your environment away from it all?
I think when it comes to controlling your environment, it's not always easy. And it's all context as well. Like if you are in Joburg CBD, downtown, it's impossible to control your environment because it's just a very busy environment. It requires you to be alert. But I remember what I used to do when I used to take taxis in town, and I would get very easily overwhelmed by the busyness of it all, is I would just pay attention to my breathing, So breathing, I think, is the best way to help yourself, more than controlling your environment, because you can't always control your environment, but you always control yourself and how you react, or you can at least try to control yourself and how you react. So the number one thing is breathing. when you are aware of your breathing, it kind of helps you be calm. Because sometimes when we're in a panic and when we're anxious, our breathing is very shallow and our breathing is very like it's erratic. You know, it's not soothing. So when you
Right.
are mindful of your breathing and you are taking conscious breaths, it somehow helps you to be more peaceful, be more relaxed. So that's one way I try to come to situations where like someone approaches me and wants to talk to me, for example. I guess it depends on the day.
Mm.
You know, there are days where like yesterday I was okay with listening to her. I was okay with talking to her and listening to her.
Right.
On some days when I'm not gonna pretend that I am. I'm one person who can't pretend at all.
Hey guys, I think I had a bit of a technical error. Just give me a couple seconds to figure it out. Thank you for watching, by the way. Hi, Itu. Can you hear me? Hi.
Hey,
Sorry,
you can hear me now.
I'm not sure what happened. I stopped at breathing. You was talking about breathing. I hope you didn't
Yeah,
go all the way on.
I was talking to myself. That means I was talking talking to myself the whole time. But yeah, I was pretty much saying that for me, breathing is something that really helps me to be more present and be more
Right.
mindful. Because when I am anxious
Mm-hmm.
and uncomfortable, a lot of the times my breathing is very shallow or like erratic. When I take conscious deep breaths, it helps me to it kind of grounds me, you know. So that's one way I try and control myself. I think it's difficult to control an environment. And I think one thing I also mentioned is that days are different. Like yesterday was a day where I was I felt okay with engaging with a stranger. You know, I felt
Right.
okay with about things that are personal and listening to her tell me very personal things as well.
Right.
Days are different as well. When I'm having a day where I don't feel like engaging with a stranger or with anybody for that matter, I'm
Mm,
not going to. It's not going to be. It's going to show that I'm not present. It's going to show
right.
that invested in the engagement because I'm just that type of person. When I am present and I'm fully engaged, you can tell. When I'm not, you can tell. You know,
Wow.
it's both a and a blessing. But I'm one of
Mm-hmm.
those people. You can just read my energy. You know, when I'm not okay, you can tell that Itu's not okay, and I can't even pretend. When I'm great, you can tell that she's happy, she's good. You know,
Mm,
so days are different. You know, when it comes to
right.
controlling environments, I think it's not always an easy thing to do. The best thing to do is just to be aware of yourself and to try your best to be present in that moment.
Great. I love it. I like that you're talking on that's how to deal with external environments where you're in places you can't really predict what's going to happen to you, what someone's going to say to you, whether they will trigger you or not, whether they will say things you just never know. But in terms of, and I this was meant to come like later, but I guess I could ask it now. In terms of accepting or reading energy around you, maybe perhaps if you're doing like a collaboration now from a creative kind of perspective, how do you kind of filter the kind of energy you need or require when you're doing collaborations? How do you bring out the authenticity out of other people so that it's, you're working on the same kind of wavelength?
Um, to be honest with you, it's something that I don't always get right, you know, because it's very easy to, for one, fall into the trap of you want to make money, you know.
Mm,
So something it solely serves you for that purpose. That okay, the money is okay. I'll do it for the money. It's very easy
right,
as a creator to fall into that trap, and I think it's normal. You know, we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves for that because we need to eat. We need the money. This is our livelihood for most of us. You know, so we
mm,
shouldn't be upset about wanting to make money. So sometimes it's just that, you know, it's going to benefit me financially. And then there's other collaborations where there's no money, you know, but I really resonate with the story, or I
right,
resonate with the vision, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to communicate. Or maybe the person that I collaborate with is just, we're aligned in that moment, and everything is just organic, and everything
right,
is just like this, because that's, for me, that's very important, for things to feel organic and not forced, and not like, I really
mm,
want to shoot, and then it's just like, oh, it just feels, it's a bit strenuous, you know.
right,
I like for it to feel like we're both in a space where we can meet each other halfway, you know? And that's rare. It doesn't always happen. A lot of the times, people want to collaborate with you, but they just want to take from you. They're not really trying to give something to, or sometimes they don't really have a lot to give, just genuinely,
yeah,
you know?
true.
Um, and it's just, now you have to sit and really analyze whether you want to um, invest your energy into that, or be aligned with somebody who doesn't really have much to give you, but you're willing to give them as much as you can. Um, and for me, I'm very much a feels person, like an energy person. Like how I feel, it it affects everything, you know, like
Right.
how I, yeah, if something feels good for me, if something feels heavy for me, that affects the decision that I make on the work that I choose, you know.
Right.
And I mean, I don't always get it, to be honest with you. There's been times where I have chosen to collaborate on something that, for me, it spoke to me, it spoke to the person that I am, and then I later regretted that decision because when I was there, I didn't connect with the people, or it was just very cold, and it was just like, I didn't
Mm,
expect like this. So it varies. There's ups and downs when it comes to the creative space. You can have your expectations, but you shouldn't really have any expectations, because what people perceive on like digital spaces or creative spaces isn't really always what you're going to get when you
Yeah.
have
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
the actual
totally.
people. You know, like sometimes people, when they approach you like online, or you know, they send you an email, they're all nice and they're like, oh my gosh, I love you and I want to work with you and blah 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 blah, and then you meet the people and it's like you don't really connect with them, you know.
Yeah.
um so there's a lot of prejudiceness, I can say, in the creative space. There's a lot of people, yeah, people just pretending to like mess with you, or to like what you're about, but face to face that doesn't always reflect. Or when you do something that requires support, it doesn't always reflect. So
Right.
it's a tricky thing to navigate, and I'm still navigating my way around it, and I'm still learning.
I love that you're being honest about your journey, because there is that big misconception that if you meditate on a very regular basis, you wake up in the mood and your life just falls into place and everything is perfect. But it really is just consistent, sustainable efforts towards protecting yourself, your energy, your craftsmanship, everything about you that you're putting out in the world, so that you can put out quality stuff, authentic stuff, real stuff that can appeal to people. So I really like that you're touching on that. Anything else you could kind of advise to people that want to start their journey to meditating? And there's all these weird conceptions, especially as Black people. There's all those misconceptions, like that. You know what I mean? So what could you say, and maybe also decipher a couple of misconceptions people have about meditating?
I mean, I think people have a lot of misconceptions about meditation, you know, um, and
Right.
because it's associated with things like yoga, for example, or people associated with things like being a vegan or vegetarian, and like people think that it's something that requires a lot from you, you know. And I mean, yes, it requires something from you. Meditation requires something from you, but it doesn't require a lot. You know, it doesn't
Mm,
require a whole 360 lifestyle change where
mm.
now you're wearing linen pants and you don't eat meat. You know, like it's not that deep, guys. You know, and what I try to teach people is that meditation is for everybody. It's for the young. It's for the old. It's for students. It's for people who work in corporate, people who work in you know creative spaces, art spaces, because everybody at the end of the day deals with anxiety for one, and
Totally.
everybody can benefit from being more mindful and being more present. Everybody, every single person in this entire world can benefit from that, so it is for everyone. Meditation is for everybody, and I think people want to make it into like a super spiritual thing, which it is, but just a mental thing. It's for your own mental health before anything else. And what I always want to remind people is that anybody can meditate. It takes time and practice, like everything else, um, that requires you to put time and effort into for you to get good at. It's the
Right.
same for meditating. You know, the more time you spend on consciously being mindful and consciously watching your thoughts, guarding your heart, you know, being mindful of your breathing, you will feel the benefits of it. And once you feel the benefits of it, you will understand why you need to do it. And nobody
Right.
can. You need to feel it for yourself. You need to experience that for yourself. And what I try to do in my sessions is to help people get to that place, because sometimes it's difficult for you to get to that place on your own. So what I try to do is help people to get to that place of understanding that you can do it too. I'm not special for being able to meditate. It's not a special skill. It's not a
Mm,
special that some people can do it, some people can't, or I'm not the type of person to do it. No, everybody can do it. Everybody can benefit from it. Because just like depression doesn't have, it doesn't choose. Anybody can suffer from depression. You know, rich people, poor people, old, young.
Right.
You know, meditation can benefit everybody equally. So I think that's what I really want people to understand about meditation, and to not give up on the process, because it is a process. You know,
Mm,
it's something that requires a lot of time and patience and effort from you. Um,
right.
and it's not. I think it's important to approach it without expectations of your life just dramatically changing. No, you know, meditation just, it helps you be aware of your issues. And a lot of the time, the more you start meditating is the more you become aware of your issues. You know, the more you become aware of the things you need to work on. It doesn't make the things disappear. You know, meditation
Mm,
doesn't take problems away. It, if anything, it makes you more aware of them, and it helps you to deal with them. It gives you
right.
clarity. You know, it helps you to
Right.
say, okay, this is what we're struggling with. How are we going to deal with it? Okay, let's deal with it like this. Okay, let's let go of this. Let's cut
Mm,
this person. You know, it gives you a lot of clarity, I can say. So I always say it's not a magic pill. It doesn't make your problems or your issues, you know, disappear. You're still going to be triggered. You're still going to have all those issues. You're just going to be more aware of them, and you're just going to be more, you're going to have more clarity on how to deal with them. I'd say.
wow, I really, really like that. I'm just gonna like process all of that in a couple of seconds. But that is amazing. I think meditation is important. I think I meditate in my own way. So I also know like the first-hand kind of benefits of it. For me, my work, I like that you had touched on something regarding how it helps you confront your issues. I know for me, that's
Yeah.
how it is because I do kind of documentary work, and I've done work on colorism and toxic masculinity, and I did a recent project on sexual assault. So all those things are really stemmed from my identity. And so I'm only able, people say, oh my gosh, you're so courageous. You can post about these deep things. I'm like, it's because, there was inner work done. There was self-work done. There was meditation done to confront these things and not be so afraid of them. And that gave me the power. So I like that you said that, because meditation doesn't, like you had said, it doesn't take away the issues from your life. It only makes you manage them better. It makes everything manageable. It puts you in a space where you're able to kind of confront everything that comes your way and see how to kind of sieve through it and create something positive out of it. So I really, really like that you touched on that, because I always do, and people think I'm like crazy. So I'm glad that someone else is able to kind of show that it's possible, it's manageable, it's
Yeah.
important, it's beneficial, it's for everyone as well. It's not just for some people. You know what I mean? I really
It's
also
not just
really
for
like
girls
that.
who wear hijabs.
Bruh, you know what I'm saying? It's not just for some kind of people. It's literally for all of us. Your head wrap, you're there with your head wrap, you're there with your weave, you're there with your cornrow. You know what I mean? It's for all of us. And I think we can all benefit from it. And I think on that note, if there's anything else, oh, I had another question. I wanted to find out your kind of experience in teaching meditation. How has that been?
That has been the most amazing thing. Like, it's been such a blessing to be able to really, really see people connect with themselves. For me, more than
Right.
anything, you know, like I remember in my first session that I had, there was a girl who came who was so, like, you could see she wasn't okay. She was so heavy. She had just gone through a breakup, you know, and she was just like, she was just dark, you know.
Right.
And I looked at her at the end of the session, and she was light. She just, her face was lit up, and she was just relaxed, and she was smiling, you know. And
Wow.
for me, that was so, so, so rewarding, you know. And I just realized the kind of responsibility that I had, or that I have in that moment, because as much as it I help people connect with themselves, it also really helps me connect with myself. It helps me connect with my calling, you know. It helps me
Mm.
connect with God, you know, because I feel God using me in those moments so intensely, you know. Like, God guides me in my meditation sessions, and and sometimes like things just come up, or I get a sense of, okay, maybe somebody's struggling with this, so you should touch on this, you know. So it's just it's 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 a very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a very high experience for me, you know. It's a
Wow.
godly experience for me. I feel God using me. I feel my purpose in motion when I'm in my sessions, and that there's nothing better than that. There's nothing more fulfilling than that experience, and it makes me feel very grateful to be the person that I am, and to be able to know what my calling is and to know what my purpose is, because a lot of people, everybody has a purpose, you know,
Yes.
but not
Mm.
everybody have connected with their purpose. So some people are scared of it because of what it's going to require from
Mm.
them, you know.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
because knowing your purpose, it requires you to take a lot of responsibility, you know. When you know that I can help people, I can actually help people, you can't sit with that. You're not going to be
Mm.
okay. Sit with that and you don't do anything with it. So it requires action from you, and it requires responsibility and a lot of awareness of other people and their energies. And you need to be so careful, because people are sensitive, you know.
Mm.
People are sad, people are lost, you know. People are looking for ways to just be okay, you know. And some people come with you for that answer of just, I need to find a way to be okay with still being here, you know. And sometimes you just like,
Mm.
wow, I don't know if I can help you do that, but I'm gonna try, you know. But it's just
Yeah.
been a it's been a very godly experience for me. I think that's the best way to explain it, because it really connects me with God. I feel God communicating with me when I'm doing my sessions, and it's just amazing. I have big aspirations for it. You know, I want to take meditation everywhere. I want to have big meditation gatherings, because when we're all meditating together and we're there for, you know, the same thing, it's so powerful. You know, it's really, really powerful. And it's important for us to realize how powerful we are and how connected we are. You know, because when we realize how connected we are, that's when we become even more powerful, because the energy is multiplied. So it's 10 times better. So
Wow.
yeah, my meditation sessions have just been amazing. I've learned a lot. I'm learning a lot, and it scares me. I don't want to lie. You know, it
Mm.
really, really scares me, because I don't want to. I don't want to fail. Like I don't want to give up on it, and I don't want to not use it to its full potential. You know. Um, So I'm just trying my best to remain present, and to not let fear control me when it comes to
Mm.
what I want to do with my meditation sessions, and how far I want to take it. And, you know, I want to make money. I need to make money. And
Right.
I've got people who want to help me, which I'm very grateful for. I have people who have recognized that you're good at it. You're really good at it. So you should make money from it, you know? So I'm just I'm just trusting God with it as well. I think God should always remain the center of it, because God is the
Mm.
reason why I'm doing it in the first place. You know? So yeah, I think I'm blessed. When it comes to that, I'm very, very blessed. This has been a good year in terms of that. The
Right.
the fact that I've started, and it's become it's moving, you know, it's in motion, and then people are recognizing it as a real thing, like having a meditation facilitator or practitioner there to help you
Right.
with your meditation.
Wow. That's very inspirational. Like Just waiting for Itu to come on so I can give my conclusion. Hi. Oh, you know how it is.
I'm back.
Yes, she's back. So yeah, basically what I wanted to say was, wow, that last bit is something I resonate with very, very, very strongly. I'd done an
I
IG
can't
live.
hear you though. The sound is
You
very
can't hear
low
me at
for some
all?
reason.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know if it's the issue on my side.
Can you hear me?
It's very, very low. The sound is very, very low, but I'll try my best to listen.
I'll
Can
try
you hear me well?
screaming. Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay.
Basically, what I was trying to say is that's something I truly resonate with on so many levels. You touched on purpose, which I think is very important when you do anything to kind of be guided by. And for me, I feel like I'm living in my purpose. And someone asked, how do you know, or how do you get to that place where you enter your purpose? And I said something similar along the lines of what you had just said, to say you have to be willing to take on what your purpose is asking from you. And so I feel like God, in many different ways, kind of reveals our purpose in bits and pieces, just to see how we can manage it and how responsible we can be with how he gives us what he gives us. And even on that note, one of my favorite scriptures from the Bible is something that says, whatever leads to peace and mutual edification, which is something you had also said in one of your responses. You had talked about how teaching meditation is mutually edifying. It builds other people up. It builds you up. Everyone is benefiting. With something as strong as that in your life, I wish you nothing but the best. I feel like you're on an amazing journey. I feel we're all here to benefit so much from you. And, we hope that even with all the challenges that come, we know that it's not easy, all the challenges that may come with meditating and even being in the position of leading other people towards that path. I just can only pray that you continue to be strengthened in that area. You continue to live it up and, like you had said, build it up into its maximum potential. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully we'll be having another one.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. I mean, hopefully we can get to do this face to face someday. Because that's always better. The internet lets us down sometimes. But thank you so much for identifying me as somebody who could, be beneficial to this conversation, because it's a very important conversation. And thank you for being somebody who initiates such conversations. You are also doing a lot of great work, and all the best to you, blessings to you as well. And yeah, I hope we can definitely collaborate in the future as well.
All right, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. All right, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you to everybody who joined us.
Thank you guys. I'm sorry we couldn't go through all the questions and everything, but thank you for the lovely comments and taking your time out to basically come and dedicate your time to spending a lot of mindfulness and, bringing your energy. I asked people to bring their good energy and good vibes, and they did just that. So thank you so much to everyone that's watching. Itu, once again, thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.